What if I told you the man who redefined the electric car, revolutionized space travel, and is now attempting to connect the human brain to artificial intelligence, was once a bullied kid who read 10 hours a day to escape reality? That Elon Musk, the billionaire engineer behind Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and more, didn't just build companies. He built a mindset. A mindset so relentless, so committed to solving problems that he risked everything again and again to push humanity forward. This isn't a story about money. This is a story about obsession, vision, pain, sacrifice, and what it truly takes to live a life of purpose. Because Elon Musk didn't play it safe. He didn't follow the crowd. He stared failure in the face and refused to blink. Let's dive into the mentality of the man who refuses to accept limits and what you can learn from him to build a powerful, purpose-driven life of your own. Elon was never normal. At 12 years old, he built a video game and sold it for $500. At 17, he moved across the world from South Africa to Canada with barely anything to his name, just to be closer to the future he dreamed of. He studied physics and economics not for prestige, but because he believed understanding the fundamental forces of the universe and society was essential to solving real problems. He wasn't chasing comfort, he was chasing impact. That's the first lesson. Don't chase approval, chase problems that matter. Musk once said, "You get paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of problems you solve." He's not in it to build cool apps. He's trying to make humanity multiplanetary. What about you? What are you solving? What's the real challenge you were born to face? Most people run from pain, but Elon, he runs toward it. He said, being an entrepreneur is like eating glass and staring into the abyss of death. That's not a metaphor. In 2008, both Tesla and SpaceX were on the brink of collapse. He had $40 million left, and he split it between both companies instead of playing it safe. He bet everything because he believed. He said, if something is important enough, even if the odds are against you, you should still do it. That's lesson 2. Commit beyond comfort. The world respects obsession. People follow those who are willing to suffer for something greater than themselves. Are you? Every time Elon launched a rocket and it failed, he didn't fold. When SpaceX's first 3 launches exploded, the world laughed. But on the 4th try, it worked. And it changed the future of space exploration. You know why he kept going? Because he was chasing validation. He was chasing truth. He said, I think it's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. That's lesson 3. Obsess over feedback, not praise. Growth is not about being right. It's about learning. It's about adapting fast, adjusting faster, and being willing to be wrong over and over again until you get it right. Elon doesn't pretend to know everything, but he's willing to outlearn everyone. You've got to build your own feedback loop. Ask yourself, what am I wrong about today that I can be less wrong about tomorrow? That's how the greats move. Musk also operates on what he calls first principles thinking. Instead of reasoning by analogy, doing what others do, he breaks things down to the core truths and rebuilds from there. He said, you boil things down to the most fundamental truths and then reason up from there. Think about that. Most people copy what works. Elon asks, what's true? What's possible? What's necessary? That's lesson 4. Question every assumption. Start from zero. When you think from first principles, you're no longer limited by what's been done. You can do what's never been done. That's why he launched Tesla. The world said electric cars would never compete. Too slow, too boring, too impractical. So he built one that smoked Ferraris. Not just a car, but a movement. Because he didn't care what the world said was possible. He cared about what was necessary for the planet and what physics allowed. Let me ask you this. Are you thinking like the crowd or like a creator? Are you building from assumptions or from truth? Now here's something most people miss. Elon Musk is not fearless. He said, I feel fear quite strongly, but there's just no choice. That's lesson 5. Do it scared. Do it anyway. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's action in the face of fear. You think greatness comes from confidence? No. It comes from confronting the thing that terrifies you and stepping forward regardless. Elon works 80 to 100 hours a week, every week for decades. He pushes himself beyond burnout, beyond failure, beyond fatigue, because to him, the mission is everything. He said, if you need inspiration, don't do it. Let that sink in. If you need external motivation to act, you're already behind. True drive comes from purpose, from a fire that doesn't wait to be lit, it burns on its own. So here's the question, what mission makes you unstoppable? Because if you're chasing comfort, you're going to break the second it gets hard. But if you're chasing something bigger than yourself, you become unbreakable. That's what Elon teaches us. Not to admire him, but to ask more from ourselves, to expect more from our lives, to refuse the ordinary, to reject the limits the world tries to place on us. You're not here to fit in. You're here to reshape the world in your own way. So maybe you're not trying to colonize Mars, but maybe you're here to lead, to build, to create something bold, to live a life that actually means something. You don't need to be a genius to do it. You just need obsession, clarity, relentless execution, and the courage to keep going when everyone else stops. This is your call to level up, to stop playing small, to think bigger, work harder, and dream wider. Because just like Elon, you were never meant to be normal. You were meant to be limitless. If this message fired you up, don't let it stop here. Like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to Limitless You to keep feeding your mind with the fuel it needs to grow. This is just the beginning. We're not here to fit in. We're here to rise,